All right, I've had enough. Seriously, I've had enough. There's a bunch of people who came in here today, and all they're doing is talking shit, and they're trying to be dicks. Oh, the community's dead. Phil, the community's dead. You're all gonna get banned. I don't give a fuck. I don't care if we drop 20 viewers. I don't give a fuck. 20 idiots come in here. There's people enjoying the stream, having fun. And you have 20 people. Hey, there's no one on the stream. No one's talking. The community's dead. Shut the fuck up. You're the only one who's being negative. Seriously. I'm gonna take all these idiots who are in here and just boot them.
Hey guys, Dylan here, and welcome to Social Media Lunacy. This is a new direction for my channel, but let's talk about what social media lunacy is gonna be. Basically, it's like Sonic Insanity, but instead of just focusing on Sonic people, I'm going to cover other lolcows. And what lolcow to start with? DarksydePhil. DarksydePhil is someone who has been recommended to be talked about for a long time, despite not really being associated with Sonic. But now since I've ditched the whole Sonic shtick and I'm gonna do other stuff, might as well just go for DarksydePhil, because who else could be first? So we're gonna look at this Kiwi Farms article. I'm going to be reading the Who is DarksydePhil part today, and I will be continuing until we run out of stuff to talk about with DarksydePhil. So let's take a look at who Phil is. DarksydePhil, DSP, the King of Hate, which King of Hate is a very generic name and a try-hard name. Philip Burnell is a former fighting game player who began Let's Playing in 2010, which is actually really early for that genre, before it boomed. After he had gotten fired from his day job working at a helicopter company. What? That's an impressive job. I wouldn't expect someone like DSP to have that type of job. And he just decided to stop doing that. Like, don't get hired by anyone else. YouTube is the way. DSP decided to turn this hobby into a full-time job. Although his gameplay is horrible, there's more to Let's Playing than just gameplay, and even in all of those other areas he fails spectacularly. Editing, public relations, commentary, you name it. So Phil sucks at everything apparently. What a shock. What truly makes him a lolcow, however, are his ego and delusion. Wow, that sounds familiar. He truly believes that he is the inventor of Let's Playing. No, that's not true. Let's Playing was done on internet forums before it even moved to YouTube. So no, that's not the truth. And hell, Chris Chan would have more likely of a chance of claiming to be the first Let's Player than fucking DSP. And is above constructive criticism. Sounds familiar. Phil actually believes that his video game playthroughs are works of art. I know a lot of people online have that thought now, but Phil was probably one of the first ones to be that egotistical. Offering any sort of constructive criticism whatsoever will cause Phil to accuse you of being a hater and a troll, a detractor as he calls it. I love that he has his own terminology. I'm really gonna get into DarksydePhil if he has more little words like that. And block you. Try to offer constructive criticism on his own forums, he will immediately lock the thread. As far as Phil is concerned, his word is the only correct one, and everyone else is wrong. What a shock. Phil always makes promises to change. Hashtag DS positive. I don't like that fucking hashtag. That sounds like he has AIDS. But attempts to deliver on those promises are always undone by his refusal to change. Phil expects PewDiePie level views for absolutely no effort whatsoever. That's a lot of these lolcow streamers, to be honest. He has called out numerous reviewers and critics for chastising mediocre games that he himself likes, such as Duke Nukem Forever. Okay, well, that's unforgivable. I can forgive you doing anything else, Phil, but I cannot forgive you for liking Duke Nukem Forever. I got that game when it was new, and I got it in a bargain bin for like $5, and I played through the full campaign, and I was severely disappointed. I played that game before I knew it sucked, and I still thought it sucked. So I'm not part of the hype train. I literally hated that game, and I didn't play any other Duke Nukem game before that, so I had zero expectations. It's a bad game, but you're allowed to like bad games. Resident Evil 6 and Murdered. I never heard of that. Sole Suspect. Phil calls himself the King of Hate because he used the hate he gets to fuel himself. That's not good. That's gonna lead into some self-destructive territory. In truth, Phil has a thin skin and cannot realize that his own personality is why he receives the hate he does. Subsection, Phil's ego stemming from fighting games. Okay, let's see what this is. Phil himself is completely unable to accept reality when the times change. Phil refuses to adapt. In rare instances, he does try to improve. It's in the wrong areas. Phil truly believes that the detractors are jealous of his success. Oh yeah, he's very successful. When in reality, no sane person would ever want the lifestyle Phil currently has. This was a man who would for years try to justify pointing a camera directly at his TV, and would diss anyone else for being someone who wears headphones and records their game on a computer monitor. Wow, not only does he have a shitty setup, he shits on people who has good setups? Like, that's fucking dumb. It's like, oh yeah, how dare you? How dare you care about how your gameplay looks? Despite all the consequences that come from his actions, he truly believes none of it is his fault. To Phil, it's not his fault that people don't like that when he chooses to include his girlfriend in his videos. Wow, I can relate with that one. People hate it. I mean, I wouldn't say people hate it, but I get a lot of bitching comments. It's the viewer's fault for not tolerating her. It's not his fault that his personality and attitude has caused thousands of videos criticizing Phil to appear over the years. Everyone else is just mentally ill. It's not his fault that he's been banned for excessive racism from Blip.tv, which, RIP Blip. It's his detractors' fault for being jealous and reporting him. Those are just examples of how Phil is completely incapable of accepting fault. Going in hand with his delusions, Phil's irresponsibilities with money, he honestly believes that putting himself $1.5 million in debt to move across the country with his girlfriend to Washington and buying 2 new BMWs, that's a lot of spending, was a good idea. Once he moves to Washington, Phil claimed he will be able to have as much needed back surgery. So he has back problems, probably because he's been gaming for so long. He's probably just been sitting in that chair non-stop. He'd have a much better attitude. I doubt that. Meet fans at conventions, you could do that now, and put more effort into his videos. Nothing stops you from putting effort into your videos. I've seen handicapped people on YouTube make better videos than DarksydePhil. Everything would change, and its fans will watch him again, and it will be happily ever after the dimensional merge. That would soon prove to be a part of his delusional fantasies. When he was unable to run Battlefield Hardline, his solution was to throw down $3,000 on a pre-built that could have been assembled himself with the exact same parts for $1,000 less. In reality, his motivation was to hide his faults. Okay, so I actually bought a pre-built too. But I got mine on sale, and it uses a lot of old parts, and I barely paid anything for it. I only paid $700 for my computer, and it does what I need to. But you shouldn't just throw down a ton of money unless you really know stuff about computers. I asked a lot of people before I bought my computer, and I'm still gonna have to upgrade it. So, yeah, really look into what you're buying before you just throw down a ton of money on a pre-built computer. In reality, his motivation was to hide his faults as a Let's Player by streaming in ultra high quality. That isn't really going to change anything. It could be the best looking gameplay ever, but if it's still shit, it's still shit. Once it was apparent that his PC could not handle streaming even the last generation games on max settings at, well, you could just drop the fucking, like, quality in the game. Like, I recorded some footage from my other channel, and the gameplay that I got was from Marvel's Avengers. And stay tuned for that, because I'm going to be uploading on that channel again soon. And I had to drop the quality to low settings, but it still looks good. It's good gameplay. It doesn't matter if you have ultra high settings, as long as the gameplay is consistent and it doesn't fucking stutter. At 1080p and 60 FPS, he abandoned the idea and left his PC running 24 hours a day, frying his graphics card and internals of his desktop tower to never play PC games again, instead of doing the sensible thing with his Let's Player money, such as buying a good PC with decent specs and trying to run at 720p and 60 frames per second. Money. Or even simply saving for retirement. Phil decided to waste it all. And after that is ... hoarding. So I'm assuming Phil's a hoarder. So Phil has quite a bit in common with Chris, I see. He's delusional, he's full of himself, he blames all of his haters for his problems. The only thing is, I think Phil has made a lot more money than Chris-chan, because Chris-chan definitely couldn't fucking buy a BMW or a house. So, that was our introduction to DarksydePhil. Hopefully you guys learned something today. I'm going to be covering more DarksydePhil soon, and plenty of other lolcows as we continue going on. I know a lot of you guys came here for Chris-chan, but I'm hoping you guys will stay here when I cover other lolcows, because I really feel like the Chris-chan story is at its end, and I don't plan on just giving up. I'm going to take the advice people gave me, and I'm going to cover other lolcows. There are plenty of people as interesting as Chris, as you can see with DarksydePhil, so hopefully you guys will continue watching the channel and be into the other lolcows I talk about. If you guys like this video, hit the like button. If you really like this video, then share it around so people know that I'm making content again. And if you guys want to help out, you can subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.
You got some idiot named DSP who's a total piece of shit, by the way. I like to get that on YouTube, but this guy thought he was hot shit because he beat me and Choi in a game that was like, it's like fucking ℒ𝐔𝐍𝒾 conversion of Street Fighter or some crap, dude. And he was so proud that he put under his signature, he's the #1 US ranked Super Turbo player that year. But I mean, look at him now.